What's up, everyone? Welcome to the FOMC live stream. Today is Wednesday, December 10th. Pretty choppy, whippy pre-FOMC price action. S&P is currently down 2 points. NASDAQ's down 81. Russell is up 4, and the Dow's up 140. Gold down 0.33%. Silver is flat. Notes and bonds a little bit green. 10-year yield down about 0.25%. Oil up 0.25%. Natty gas down 0.25%. Soybeans up 0.25%. Wheat and corn are red. Euro and the pound both up about 0.25%. Bitcoin down 0.5%. Bitcoin just had a little pop and then a little dip. A little pop and dip. We've got about 14 minutes until the FOMC data is released. Got a little pop in green just before we jumped on here, so I hit $3 profit target on one, closed my other tranche out that I had originally set at a 10% profit target, closed that out for about 1.5%. Had I waited about 5-10 more minutes, I would have done a little bit better on that one, but that's okay. Green is good. So between the two tranches, booked 1,185, and now we wait for the Fed decision. Quarter point drop, quarter point reduction is the consensus. About 90% chance is what the CME FedWatch tool shows. 89.4% that there's a 25 basis point cut. Of course, the main issue is the forward-looking statements by the Fed. So we'll see. Are they dropping at 0.25% and going to say no more for a while? Are they going to say quarter point rate cut and potentially more soon? Those are kind of the main things that the market will be reacting to. I mentioned in the chat, usually this FedWatch tool at this point is like 97% probability of something happening, and it's less than that. So that's a little concerning. The fact that the 0-day options based on the O2 ratio diagonal we traded today was acting a little wonky. Gives me a little bit of pause on doing the iron Condor here right before the data release. Kind of feels like there might be a surprise, but I'm still going to do it. I'm going to go small, which I have been lately anyway. So I'm just going to do a 2-lotter of the $4 60 wide. I do need to get on that FOMC song. I've been promising it every single meeting, and I still haven't done it. Sometimes the songs, they just come to me. But it just hasn't come to me yet. The morning live string song, that kind of came to me while I was mowing my yard one day. Just kind of started putting it together and spun that one out. The Power Hour one I came up with, I don't remember exactly where or what I was doing on that one, but I'll get an FOMC one of these days. I didn't even use AI on those. That was all natural. I'll have to use some AI for the FOMC one since I can't come up with a song for it. It looks like the old green is starting to produce now. Just a little bit of a late bloomer today. Here's what mine would look like. Finally starting to see the old pink line starting to raise up. I guess it's pretty close to where I took it off. Or pretty close to that $3 profit target. I just don't like the risk of holding it through the announcement. I mean, like a 3-lot We've got about 21K of risk. It's about 7K per lot, 23,000 to the downside. So I just closed it out. I closed all mine. I had the 2 tranches. 3 lots each. Bitcoin all of a sudden just took off, looked like it was ready to roll, and then just got slapped back down. So I'll put the Iron Condor on a few minutes before the data release. So that's going to happen in about a little over 8 minutes. So I'll put that on here in about 5 minutes. $4 strikes appears to be, let's say like the 68.90 on the call side and the 67.75, so a little over 100 wide. By the way, I say this every time, but when I put this on, I don't use a stop because of the whippiness of the price action. You get stopped out pretty easy, and it can just kind of whip back in. So I removed the stop, but just keep in mind I'm only doing a 2 lot because I'm accepting full max loss if we do have a big surprise and we rip one way or another. So make sure you are position sizing and taking the appropriate precautions for your own risk appetite. Yeah, it'll be announced before June, but I think June is when the new guy officially takes office. Took 2 day trades this morning in the live stream. One was in IWM. I was trying to get in right here, and it just ran away from me. It would have been a quick winner. And then it pulled back and started to show some strength above that pre-market high level, and I got in again, and it did not cooperate, so I cut it real quick for about a $200 loss. And then what was the other one I took? The other one, oh, PLTR. I scratched out a little bit of a profit on that one. PLTR, the play was right off of previous day high, but I waited for price to bounce back above pre-market highs, got in right there and caught that move, took some profits near the highs, and then it came back down and I just cut it. So small winner. And that was it for this morning. Not a whole lot going on. I also posted potential meta swing play. it's not holding at this point. So maybe a non-starter, but Meta kind of came down, and I was looking for it to kind of hold this level where it had topped out previously, but it's pushing below it now. So I was going to look for a potential long swing in Meta, but as of right now, not going to happen unless it kind of wicks that level with a bounce. Might still be in play, but I'll be looking for a swing trade after FOMC towards the end of the day. So if you guys see anything that you think is interesting, let me know. Going in with the Iron Condor. S&P, NASDAQ, Russell all dipping, Bitcoin dipping. Filled at 650. On the 65 puts and 90 calls. Like I said, I'm disabling my stop loss. Data release in 2 minutes. Definitely a lot of juiced premium this time. You know, I mean, we've definitely had Iron Condors over 100 wide, but we've also had them like 50, 60, 70 wide too at this point. So definitely some juice this time around. Was it 70 wide last time? Yeah, that sounds right. I can't find my CNBC now. CNBC. All right. Well, data is out. First move is up. Red Bulls and Monsters typically don't go well with trading for me. In fact, I have to limit my coffee intake until after the market opens. That way I don't get too excited pre-market. But whatever works, Troy, if that's your thing. All right, so Iron Condor immediately went red. I'm not sure if it would have been enough to stop it, but now it's back in the green already. So that's just kind of an example of why I don't like the stop loss on this trade. Now it's up 10%, just like that. Got a little flush. I don't know what that level is. I think that's just an old level. Almost got up to yesterday's high in the S&P and the NASDAQ and the Russell. Getting pushed back down. The crean, my crean would be a little bit higher than where I got out. Not too much. Troy, did you try the crean today? It was not as fun as it normally is. I hit a $3 profit target like 15 minutes ago, but nothing quick. Iron Condor's up 20%. Is that a, wait, hang on. Let me adjust my eyes, make sure I'm seeing things correctly. Is that a Dick K sighting? Say it so. Bitcoin, big whippy bounce and drop. There he is. What's going on, Dick? I was thinking about you the other day. I bet your strategies printed this week, didn't they, Dick? If you're still doing the same thing. Just based on how my Bix did, I bet your stuff really printed. VIX started off right before the announcement at about 17.11. Dipped below 16.6. Now it's at 16.83. So decent little contraction coming in. NASDAQ still a little bit red. S&P and Russell and Dow all green. Getting this continued push up, really need price to kind of hold or drop a little bit to get back to center. Still up about 11%. Russell pushing through highs, pushing through yesterday's highs. S&P and NASDAQ popping back up to highs. Iron Condor going a little bit red. Going to need a pullback for that one to give us some lunch money. Indices staying strong so far. I haven't been trading doubles, just the singles on Mondays and Fridays. I actually held some over the weekend, which I haven't been doing. The 6-7 on Friday did well, but I know last week overall people were getting crushed on doubles. Biggest movers for individual stocks, I've got FSLRs up 4%. Expedia, PLTRs up 4%. Who was saying they were going to hold PLTR? CML. Getting a nice little bump there. TSM is at highs of day. MU, nice move. So chips, nice bounces out of all the chips. Big tech all bouncing except Netflix. Netflix is staying weak, down 3%. Meta trying to get back above that level. Google at highs of day. Banks have been somewhat strong all day, and they're just kind of holding, not much of an extension. Robinhood pushed through highs. Crypto's bouncing. So everybody up except for Netflix. Let's see who else is red here. Uber down 6%. GameStop had earnings. It was down like 12%. It's only down 4%. Uber, big drop in Uber. Microsoft still down almost 3%. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to put one on right after the press conference starts, though, Noel. Just because these premiums are so juiced. But I think I'll probably end up trading one. S&P and NASDAQ rejecting at previous day high. Iron Condor still up around 10%. Need a little bit more dip. Check the trade channel, CML. Or the trade plan channel, I should say. Iron Condor back up 20% on this dip. If we can get down to around 68.40, which is basically where we started, and it's 20 points away, that would be centered and we'd be up close to 50%. Probably a little bit less because the drop would pump some IV in, but Microsoft rejected back down towards lows. Nvidia is just chopping around yesterday's lows, still red. Tesla trying to get up to highs of day. Dip's getting bought up. Barely any bounce in Netflix. Haven't heard any more about the Warner Bros. Saga. Netflix announced they were buying them for like $27 a share, and then Paramount came in and said, we'll give you 30. So now I think the Warner Brothers board has to vote on who they like better. Tesla popping. Google popping. Wow, TSM and PLTR are ripping. My crean would be just a little bit higher than where I took it off for a $3 profit. So basically 2 calls instead of 1. Everything else pretty similar, it looks like. S&P and NASDAQ rejecting previous day high a little bit again. Nice little 10-point drop back down to like 68.50. That would do good. Definitely be over 30%. Bitcoin's all over the place. What do you mean conditional market order, CMO? Based on a certain time? Oh, on your stop. I see. I got it. Indices just kind of chopping near highs here. S&P and NASDAQ really having a little resistance here at previous day high. Is that what they said? Just one next year? That doesn't seem like the market would like that. $30 delta strangle. I'm looking at the 75s on the call side and the 35s on the put side. It's trading over $17 right now. Iron Condor up about 25%. Coming down. Come on down. Getting close to 30%. My original management for this would be to close half at 30% and then close the other half right before the press conference. See if this thing wants to keep coming down a little bit closer to center. I'll take one of my two off. S&P kind of bouncing off of this previous high of day. 4 minutes till the presser. I'm just going to hold both of mine here and close them both out here in a couple minutes. At about 35%. All right, I'm just going to close mine. It'll end up being just over 30%. Final is 33%. Still coming down. May have squeezed 40% or so out of it if I held a couple minutes longer. Now we wait for Jerome, the man of the hour. The man with the power. Well, you're kind of negative, Watson. Okay. Or 7,000. Says January JP's last meeting. Or if I guess if he's out in May, he'll have, where was that at? So there's one in January, March, and April. So he's got 3 more after this, I guess. Lando, did you short NVIDIA? S&P's little dip, getting bought back up. I will probably do a strangle, but I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it 5 minutes after the presser. Pretty pricey right now. I priced it at $17 just a minute ago. My cream would be worth almost double what I got out for. Purple tie. Russell held above its previous day high. NASDAQ and S&P have rejected theirs so far. S&P trying to make another run. VIX down to 16.52. Russell new highs of day, which is new all-time highs, I believe. Yes, it is. Russell blasting through all-time highs. S&P, NASDAQ pushing through. Here we go. Here come the bulls. I've got the upper expected move marked at 68.79, so we're about 7 points away from that. The market likey the purple tie. Meta barely bouncing. Microsoft barely bouncing. Netflix no bounce. Banks ripping through highs. There's SPX hitting its upper range. There was some news on PLTR after the market closed yesterday. I don't remember what it was. Ooh, nice, Elliot. You rebel. Okay, so dipping now. NASDAQ, S&P. Let's see if they can hold that previous day high, or if it's going to reject again. I would say if we reject here, we go back down to lows of day. CML on my trade plan sheet, I did. There's a little video that talks about it. It's definitely not one for beginners. It's a little bit. It's a little bit. I mean, you want to know how to trade. You need to understand calendar spreads before you would attempt to trade it. But there's a video on how to set it up in there. Bitcoin still just kind of wide chop. Banks still pumping new highs. Bank of America, JP Morgan, Goldman. Chip stocks kind of starting to dip. I guess the indices now too. Russell all the way back down below previous high now. S&P, NASDAQ rejecting again. Not even a 15-minute close above that previous day high. Keeps getting rejected. Microsoft through lows, Netflix new lows, Meta heading towards lows. I'm looking at NVIDIA for a short. I would trade the 180 puts. See what it does here. Dip's getting bought up a little bit. Goog holding above its previous day high. Keeping an eye on NVIDIA. Showing relative weakness. Just kind of watching that little trend line to use as a risk level. MSTR and coin flush through lows. No, I haven't taken it, but I'll post it in the trade channel. Getting a little bounce coming in. Goog's holding up well. If this market stays strong, Goog is going to rip. MSTR is kind of chopping below lows of day here. Bitcoin's just kind of been whippy and choppy. MSTR looks like it wants to go lower. A lot of these dips getting bought up. We'll be back in 1 minute. S&P still at previous day highs. $30 delta strangle, which right now would be the 85 calls and the 55 puts. Trading for about 14. Google ticking new highs of day. TSM pushing new highs. $30 delta. I'm not ready to do one yet, but 30 delta is what I usually do. Yeah, both 30, yep. Well, we're moving at 5 points a clip, so Russell continuing to hold previous day high. SPX back up to that 68.78, which is the expected range to start the day. VIX back below 16. TSM is pumping. Google's pumping. Apple through highs. Aggressive little bounce coming in here. SMH, semiconductor ETF, just hit new all-time highs. S&P's up a little over 0.5%. SPX all-time high is 69.20. We are at 68.87. 68.84. Well, no middle finger from Jerome today. Couple little dips here, but pretty bullish action. Not in Netflix, though. Netflix can't catch a bid to save its life. Nice aggressive bounce in NVIDIA off that trend line that I had there. Moel, did you hit profit target? It's a pretty quick move. It's kind of hard to the upside. It's got to really move. Because the premium's just getting sucked out. VIX down to 15.75. If we can get up to Friday's high, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go in with the long strangle. Almost there. Tezzy popping up to yesterday's highs. Big bounce in NVIDIA. Big boy bounce. Banks still ripping. Crypto's staying weak. MSTR still chopping near lows, previous lows of day. Getting a little dip now. Yeah, there goes MSTR back down through lows of day. Goog still pushing. Watson, you still in Goog? Or did you paper hand it? He's not answering. He must have paper handed it. Oh, somebody made Jerome giggle. You don't see Jerome giggle too often. I didn't hear what the question was. I'd like to see NASDAQ or S&P sweep those Friday highs. Which we're getting pretty close. Suck a little bit more premium out. And then I'm going in. Tesla getting strong. There we go. Getting close. All right, I'm going in. Filled at $9.95. $35 profit target. Come on, Jerome, say something crazy. Enough of the scripted answers. Let's go nuts. Nvidia's dipping a little bit. Tesla pulling back near yesterday's high. Netflix still putting in lows. If I was still holding the green, it would be pretty red. Down about almost 4K at this point on a three lot tranche. Bitcoin popping its head up near highs. So if I can get a quick move down to 68.77 or a quick move up to 69.11, it would hit. But the longer it takes, the further away it's got to get. Bitcoin moving now. MSTR flushed the lows. Now it's bouncing. S&P, NASDAQ, Russell all kind of pausing near the top. Banks are still moving higher. Tezzy's still moving higher. Netflix even getting a little bounce here. We might be going to all-time highs today. Microsoft and Meta, a little bounce. They've been weak all day. Amazon pushing up towards highs. Bitcoin coming to life. MSTR looks like it just had a nice little liquidity sweep and it's ready to roll. The Russell is up 1.8%. Dow's up 1.25. NASDAQ's kind of the lagging index. Elliot, Moel, you guys attempted any Elmos yet? Doesn't look like good price action for it. QQQ now pushing above that Friday high level. SMH still pushing new highs. MU is up 4% now. TSM up over 3%. Bitcoin trying to get up to yesterday's highs. We would have just started Power Hour a couple minutes ago. I will attempt a Mahomes at the end of the day if I can get filled. Oracle? Bosch says go bearish. I was going to go bullish. Oracle's got an expected move of about 22, so that'd put us at 44. Bitcoin coming down a bit. Trying to get filled on that Oracle. Filled at $1.73 on Oracle. Yeah, Adobe is tradable also. I'm going to just stick with Oracle, but Adobe's been pretty weak. It hit an all-time high back in February of 2024. It's getting a little bounce here the last couple weeks. S&P, little dip back through highs. My long strangle is bleeding. I need a move, Jerome. Make a move. Your move, Jerome. I need to pull back like Bitcoin's doing. S&P and NASDAQ still hovering near Friday's high. Don't pass on account of me, Abash. I'm no fortune teller. SPX needs to get up to about 69.15 on the upside now, or down to about 68.72 on the downside for my strangle to hit. Getting a little dip. Yeah, I heard a pretty good conversation about kind of the race of the different AI services. So, like, I think it's like 80% or more of of OpenAI's revenue is from their like $20 a month subscription. And they're primarily, consumer based, versus like Anthropic is pretty much enterprise based. They're kind of known for their coding. Grok obviously is XAI, so they kind of have that, all the Twitter information, all the X information. Google, of course, Gemini, they've got their search kind of tied into it and everything like that. But anyway, it's a pretty interesting case, I thought, for, and they were talking about OpenAI's share of the market. At first it was literally 100%, 90% of the market, and it's just collapsing as far as their percent market share with all the competition. So it's kind of an interesting case to be made that OpenAI is going to be in big trouble unless they are able to pivot and add some revenue outside of just their subscription, because I don't think anybody's going to pay for it. It's kind of like search. Like, would you don't pay for Google Chrome, or you don't pay for Safari. It's free. So I don't know. I kind of think they might be onto something there. Yeah, and it's easy to switch, right? SMH still ticking new highs. Chip staying strong. S&P, NASDAQ, dip getting bought up again. Yeah, Claude. That's Anthropic, right? So they've passed OpenAI in revenue already, and their primary subscriber base is on the corporate level. So I think they're kicking butt. I think OpenAI is in trouble. I haven't tried Claude at all, so I have no opinion of it, but I've heard a lot of good things, especially at the enterprise level. I'm just doing Oracle. I'm not going to do Adobe. Well, I opened my long strangle just in time for the most consolidation we've had all day. Nvidia kind of rolling over. Apple dipping. Bank of America kind of rolling over. Got about 29 minutes till the bell. I am going to need a late day move to get out of this long strangle. S&P creeping back up towards highs. Let's just go all-time highs today. Get it over with. It's only 22 points away. Yeah, I don't know. I am looking forward to some directional trading tomorrow, though. Day after FOMC tends to have some nice range. I will be allowing myself more than 3 trades tomorrow. There's 6,900 SPX. AV Go-Go's tomorrow. Yep. And AVGO is pushing new all-time highs right now. VIX down to lows of day. VIX is down 8%, and it was up like 3%. Netflix had a tiny bounce, but going back towards lows. Coinbase going through highs of day. MSTR had that pop, but it's just kind of trading sideways now. Yeah, Nvidia's still dipping a little bit. Apple's still dipping. Jerome is done. Let's see if we get a post-presser move here. It's been really tight here for the last 30, 40 minutes. I'll be back in 1 minute. I'm going to need 69.15 to break even on the upside. And we've got about 21 minutes for that to happen. So I need 15 points up or 30 down, SPX. You've got 20 minutes to decide which one you're going to take. Meta dipped below, but is holding that level here. Still may take a swing in Meta. I'm going to wait till pretty close to the end of the day here, though. After MOC. S&P and NASDAQ definitely like that Friday high level. Not the reaction I was looking for when I entered my long strangle. Got about 7.5 minutes till MOC. The 95 butterfly is trading for, looks like maybe 90 cents or less. AVGO still pumping through all-time highs. MU still pumping. Less than 5 minutes till MOC. Looks like Trump Daddy's been talking here recently. Seen some posts on Financial Juice anyway. Participating in a roundtable. If I can get filled with 2 minutes to go on a $2 Mahomes, I'll take it. But not sure that's even going to happen. 95 is still trading under $1. Need a big MOC number. Bitcoin's still dipping. Russell is dipping a little bit. Come on, no whammies. Big MOC. The lack of movement. Pelosi. Looks like Pelosi is saying there's not going to be much of a MOC here. $550 million sell side. Nice and tiny. Gonna need a Christmas miracle for the long strangle to profit. I've seen it happen before, but it's gonna have to be a Christmas miracle. By the way, I mentioned yesterday I've had eight Mahomes winners in a row. That's just in December. Going back to November 4th, I think was my last loser. I think I've had 13 winners in a row. SPX down to 90. 90 butterfly trading for about a little over $1. Well, if we don't get a move here, this long strangle is basically going to cancel out my other FOMC trade, so it'll be about a scratch day. Tesla dipping. Netflix really coming down now, adding. It's down almost 4.5%. Microsoft coming down. Meta looks like it's holding that level I wanted it to, so I'm going to do a swing in Meta. Swing long. I'm going to go to the 9 DTE. I'm going to choose the 660 calls in Meta. Filled at 750. Post that in the directional channel. Nice little dip in meta right after I got in. That's awesome. I posted in the trade channel, but here's what I took. All right, S&P still at 90. Can we get a Mahomes on? 5 minutes to go. A 90 butterfly. It's getting up there. Got an order at $2 on the 90 fly. Going half size, 5 lots. Got 4 minutes. Looks like it's close to $2. It's like at $1.90. Three minutes to go. No fill yet. Looks like it's trading. There we go. Filled at $2. Not scalping, just holding it. SPX down to 87. Tezzy coming down back below yesterday's high. Crypto's kind of rolling over. Bitcoin coming down. Two minutes. Need SPX below 85 on the downside for max potential. TSM, which has been super strong, it's rolling over. Meta's little dip got popped right back up. A little over a minute. SPX at 86. A little bit lower, fella. Just a little bit lower. Still hanging around 86. Seeing some 85s. 30 seconds. Stay down, boy. Stay down. Back up to 86. There we go. Below 85. And there's the bell with a little markup. That was a garbage markup. Looks like 68.86.8. 68.86.8, which would put me tiny profitable. Very close to max profit. Little markup. Got me. Still a winner. My Mahomes streak stays intact. 14 winners in a row. All right, all. That's a wrap. Enjoyed spending my day with you. Everybody have a good night, and we will talk to you soon. Have a good night. Cheers.